There's something you've probably never stopped to question. You wake up, look around, touch objects, see people, feel time passing. But what if all of this were just an idea? Not your idea. An idea from the very mind that created the universe. A thought so vast, it took form. A theater where each of us is the actor, but also the script, the set, and the director. Reality, the one you believe to be solid, might just be an echo. A shadow projected by something that can't be touched, but is in everything. These shadows are the faces of this creative energy, which gets to know itself more and more through its creation. There's an old saying that we should act according to the nature that surrounds us. But what if the true nature of everything is mental? The ancient sages already knew. Everything that exists is part of a universal mind. They called it the All. The All is not a divine figure in the sky. It is the very origin of consciousness. And everything we perceive, people, situations, objects, even time, are expressions of this mind. You are a thinking particle within a mind that thinks everything, all the time, infinitely. And this mind, which encompasses everything, which is absolute, projects itself into forms in order to know itself. Just like you understand yourself better by writing in a journal or talking to someone. The All understands itself by creating you, by creating the world. Nothing exists outside the mind. But that doesn't mean you can just think and change everything. Thinking like that would be very childish of you. True power lies in recognizing that your thoughts are shaping the environment you live in. My name is Noah and this is the Hermes Code channel. Here, I help you understand the keys of Hermeticism in a practical and uncomplicated way. Let's talk a little about control. You don't control the world, but you, through your will, influence how it responds to you. And what if your life right now is the response of the universal mind based on the way you think? If the All thinks, you are the conscious thought within that greater consciousness. A little complicated to understand, isn't it? But I'll try to simplify it to make it easier. This is a very important point for you to understand the upcoming videos and to truly grasp how the manifestation of reality works in practice. Your consciousness has a certain frequency, and as modern physics has already proven, thought, a manifestation of consciousness, has a wavelength that can be measured. This infinitesimal wavelength of your consciousness can resonate with greater frequencies, and this interaction forms a kind of projection. It's as if you were a mirror. And what that mirror reflects defines what you call life. I'm not saying that just thinking positively will solve everything. That would be underestimating the complexity of existence. The point is, your mind creates the field where everything happens, and of course, when in resonance with the All, everything becomes much easier. Your mind isn't omnipotent, but it is architectural. It shapes the invisible space where your feelings, decisions, and relationships move. Life is like a play. It's not about how long it lasts, but how well it's performed. And my dear friend, the path to resonating more and more with the All is to develop daily altruism, love, and helping others. We're all interconnected, and there's no other way to evolve except through this tripod. Work, evolve, and help. The stage may be the same for everyone, but the plot is sculpted behind the scenes of the mind. The All doesn't judge what's good or bad. So, take care of your thoughts so they're more benevolent than malevolent, and you'll start attracting positive aspects and opportunities into your life. Have you ever noticed how two people can go through the same situation but react in completely different ways? One panics. The other finds serenity. The world out there is neutral. The difference lies in the mental setup of the observer. And that setup begins early, at sunrise, the best moment to raise your vibration. If I could give you only one piece of advice, I'd tell you, don't underestimate the power of beginnings, and the morning perfectly symbolizes that idea. Right there, in that brief moment, you can decide what kind of reality you want to build. Wake up in a rush, and the day will feel short. Wake up with gratitude, and everything will feel lighter. There's nothing magical about this. It's mindset, it's construction, and action on what depends on you. If all is mind, and yours is a spark of the all, then you're not a prisoner of the world. You're a co-author of the experience. The question is, are you projecting light or shadow? The way you start your day reveals what you're attuned to, and that initial attunement spreads through everything. It's like the first chord of a song. It sets the tone for the entire melody. I believe you'll agree with me. You wake up, pick up your phone. You're hit with bad news, social media comparisons, pressure, anxiety. And you go on with your day, and by nightfall, you complain. Why was my day so heavy? Because you helped make it that way. Your brain wakes up in brainwaves called alpha, a receptive, almost hypnotic state. What you input at that moment gets deeply imprinted. This isn't esotericism, it's neuroscience. And it's also mental alchemy when you begin to direct your attention to what is good, beautiful, and just. Try this tomorrow as soon as you wake up. Before touching your phone, take 3 deep breaths. Think of 3 things you're grateful for. Simple. But this gesture changes the quality of your mental field and your electromagnetic spectrum. You shift from automatic reaction to conscious action. Seneca, the famous Stoic, once said, "The soul needs to be bathed every day." He knew what he was talking about. He practiced Hermetic wisdom, perhaps without even realizing it. And this daily bathing of the soul? It's not done with water. It's done with conscious intention. To make that clearer, let me paint you a picture. You wake up late, jump out of bed, rush around, spill your coffee, forget your keys, curse the traffic. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Now compare that to this. You wake up 15 minutes earlier, drink a glass of water, read a passage from a book that uplifts you, sit in silence for 5 minutes, visualize how you want your day to unfold. One is a product of autopilot, the other of conscious creation. I'm not saying you can control everything that happens to you, but you can create an inner environment where good things have room to grow. Always remember, control isn't about what happens. It's about how you respond to what happens. And your first response? It happens the moment you wake up in the morning. Are you treating your mornings like sacred rituals? Or just the start of another random day? Before anything can exist in the world, it must exist in the mind. Everything that's ever been built, homes, bridges, cities, inventions, it all existed already. Not in the eyes of the world, but in an invisible place. A plane most people ignore, yet it determines everything. Leonardo da Vinci didn't paint the Mona Lisa by accident. She already existed, not out here, but in the depths of his mind. His hand just translated what he could already see inside. Art is just the invisible becoming visible. And you, even if you're not an artist, are doing that every single day. With your thoughts, with your fears, with your desires, with your habits. When someone keeps repeating to themselves, "I'm unlucky. Nothing ever works out for me. I always lose," they're painting their own dark version of the Mona Lisa. And life, ever obedient, just reveals the canvas that was drawn from within. Let me give you an example. A person wants to improve their financial life, but they constantly think in terms of scarcity. They envy the success of others. They doubt their own worth. That mindset is like wanting to harvest grapes while planting thorns. The mind is fertile ground, but it doesn't choose between good seeds and bad ones. It simply grows whatever you plant with the most intensity. Time, that thing we think is so linear. is just a veil. It exists to organize the theater of manifestation. If everything materialized the exact moment we thought of it, there'd be chaos. That's why there's a sacred delay between thought and manifestation. In that space, the invisible is tested, polished, refined, or forgotten. The question isn't if your thoughts are creating something. The question is, what are they creating right now? Thinking is nothing more than the beginning of creation. But without action, the thought dissolves. It turns into smoke and fades away. Like a dream you can't remember after waking. The mind projects, the heart vibrates, but it's the hand that brings it to life. Yes, the universe is mental, but the third dimension responds to movement, repetition, and aligned effort. That's why time exists. Time is like an oven that slowly bakes bread. If you turn the heat up too high, trying to eliminate time, the bread burns. If you never turn the oven on, never act, the bread never bakes. You decide to change your life. You visualize, journal, write down your goals. But days pass, and nothing changes in practice. You're still going to the same places, with the same people, making the same choices. The result? Your reality stays the same. Because thought only pierces the veil when it's backed by actions that support it. Thinking is planting. Acting is watering. Waiting with awareness is harvesting. And remember, action doesn't have to be grand. It just needs to be consistent. Even alchemical gold begins as dust. What transforms it is the fire of repetition. What you're doing today, does it resonate with the future you say you want? Fire warms, but it also burns. The mind creates, but it can also destroy. This is the part most people ignore. The universe doesn't judge. It simply responds to the frequency you emit. You can create light, but you can also feed darkness. And both come from the same source, your thoughts. The universal mind, the all, doesn't divide good from evil. It manifests based on intensity, repetition, and clarity. People who live constantly on edge, always expecting the worst, they call themselves realists. But what they don't see is, they're feeding the very field. That attracts exactly what they fear. Others harbor envy, resentment, silent criticism. Then they wonder why they feel heavy, tired, stuck. They're poisoning the source with their own water. Anything your mind can conceive, it can also bring into form. The difference between a blessing and chaos is your level of awareness. Before you desire something deeply, ask yourself, does this bring me closer to my essence or further from it? Does this elevate the collective or disturb the balance? Thoughts are seeds, and the harvest is inevitable. It's worth repeating. Mental creation is sacred power, but without awareness, it becomes dangerous. Have you stopped to notice what thoughts you're fertilizing every single day? Everything is already within you. The seed, the fruit, the path. But for manifestation to be complete, your vibration must resonate with the universal creative source. The mind creates, but it's the heart, with its purity and intention, that fine-tunes the entire creation process. Without love, there is no true wisdom. Without selflessness, there is no real growth. Without a higher purpose, manifestation becomes mere vanity. Do you want to prosper? Then let your prosperity benefit others too. Do you seek peace? Be the source of it wherever you go. Want to be heard? Then learn to truly listen first. The more you align yourself with elevated values, the more the universe flows in your favor. Because the all recognizes itself in you. When everything exists within your awareness, love, intention, clarity, action. You're no longer someone trying to create something. You become creation itself, fully awake. Reality stops being an obstacle and becomes a clear mirror. So the real question is, are you ready to look into that mirror and recognize the all reflected in you? You're not here by accident. If you've made it this far, it's because something in you has already begun to awaken. The mind is the temple, action is the altar, and thought is the flame that brings reality to life. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is more important right now than being conscious of what you're creating. With every word, with every intention, with every silence. If this message lit something inside you, share it. And drop a comment below. I create with awareness. That way, I'll know you've made it here, and that you're ready to walk this path with depth. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Your mind deserves to be fed with light every single day. The path of manifestation begins in the invisible, and you just took another step forward. Thank you for your attention. I'll see you in the next video.